How to Win Friends and Influence People. Section 1. Think about the most successful person you know personally. Not famous, not on a screen, someone you've actually met. Now ask yourself, what made them successful? Was it intelligence? Probably above average, but not exceptional. Was it technical skill? Maybe, but I'd bet that the thing that set them apart, the thing you'd actually point to if you were being honest, was how they made people feel. In 1936, a man named Dale Carnegie published a book that argued the most important skill in your career and your relationships has almost nothing to do with how smart you are, how qualified you are, or how hard you work. It has everything to do with how you make other people feel. That book has sold over 30 million copies. It's been in print for nearly 90 years, and almost every principle inside it is still being ignored by almost everyone. Today, I'm breaking down how to win friends and influence people. 10 principles that will permanently change how you show up in every relationship, every conversation, and every room you walk into. Section 2. Dale Carnegie started his career as a salesman and an actor before becoming one of the most influential self-development teachers of the 20th century. He ran courses on public speaking and human relations that were attended by thousands of people, businessmen, politicians, and leaders who wanted to communicate more effectively. The book emerged from those courses. It's not theory, it's field-tested observation of what actually works when humans interact with each other. Carnegie's central argument is this: the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Not just liked, appreciated, recognized, seen. And the person who understands this and responds to it consistently will be liked, trusted, and influential in a way that no amount of intelligence or ambition can replicate. The book is divided into 4 parts. I've taken the 10 most powerful principles and grouped them into 3 themes. Let's get into it. The 10 principles. Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Carnegie opens the book with what sounds like obvious advice. Don't criticize people, but his reasoning goes much deeper than be nice. Criticism doesn't work, not because it's unkind, but because it's ineffective. When you criticize someone, you put them on the defensive. You wound their pride. You make them justify themselves, and no lasting change ever comes from that. Carnegie points out something remarkable. Even the most hardened criminals don't see themselves as bad people. Al Capone didn't think of himself as a villain. He thought he was providing a service to a public that wanted what he had to offer. People rarely blame themselves for anything, no matter how obvious the evidence. So if even criminals rationalize their behavior, what makes us think our criticism of a colleague, a partner, or a friend is going to land any differently? Real-world example. A manager who responds to poor performance with criticism and blame gets defensiveness and resentment. A manager who asks, "What got in the way?" and focuses on solutions gets engagement, honesty, and genuine improvement. Same situation, opposite results. The replacement for criticism is understanding. Before you criticize someone, ask yourself, what pressures are they under? What are they trying to protect? Why does their behavior make sense from where they're standing? Instead of condemning people, let's try to understand them. Principle 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. If the deepest craving in human nature is to be appreciated, then the person who can offer genuine appreciation has something more valuable than money, status, or charisma. But Carnegie is very specific about what appreciation means, not flattery. Flattery is cheap, transparent, and ultimately insulting. It tells the other person you think you can manipulate them with empty words. People can smell it within seconds. Sincere appreciation is different. It's specific. It names something real. It acknowledges something the person did, created, or is, something they actually care about. And it says, "I noticed, and it meant something." Carnegie writes that he made it a practice to find one specific thing to genuinely appreciate in every person he met, not as a technique, as a sincere habit. The effect on every relationship he had was transformative. Principle 3. Arouse in the other person an eager want. This is the master principle of influence, and Carnegie illustrates it with one of the most memorable images in the book. He asks, "When you go fishing, do you bait the hook with strawberries and cream?" Of course not. You use what the fish wants. Yet in every conversation, every negotiation, every attempt to persuade another person, we talk almost exclusively about what we want. And then we wonder why it doesn't work. The only way to influence another person is to find out what they want, what genuinely motivates them, what they fear, what they aspire to, and then show them how what you're asking aligns with that. The principle is not manipulation, it's alignment. You're finding the genuine overlap between what you want and what they want and leading with that. Principle 4. Become genuinely interested in other people. Here's one of the most counterintuitive truths in the whole book. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years trying to get other people interested in you. We spend enormous energy trying to be interesting, crafting the perfect story, projecting the right image, performing our best selves. Carnegie says, stop. People are not interested in you or me. They are interested in themselves, their problems, their dreams, and their lives. The person who asks about those things and genuinely listens to the answers is the person everyone walks away from thinking, what a wonderful person. The practice is simple. Ask one more question. When someone answers, don't pivot back to yourself. Go deeper into their world. Ask about what they said. Remember what they tell you. Bring it up next time you see them. This alone will make you one of the best conversationalists most people have ever met.
Principle 5. Smile.
This principle sounds almost too simple to be worth mentioning. Carnegie disagrees strongly. A smile is one of the most powerful social signals a human can send. It communicates without a single word. I am happy to be here. I like you. I'm glad we're talking. And in a world where most people are distracted, stressed, and barely present, a genuine smile is startlingly rare and memorable. The key word is genuine. Carnegie is not talking about a customer service smile or a performative grin. He's talking about the smile that comes from actually thinking well of the person in front of you, from deciding consciously to focus on what's good about them and the interaction before you walk in. William James, the father of American psychology, observed that action seems to follow feeling, but actually, action and feeling go together. By regulating action, what you do, you can regulate feeling, what you experience. If you force yourself to smile and act as though things are going well, you begin to feel that way. The smile creates the warmth, not just the other way around. Before any important conversation or meeting, take 10 seconds to genuinely think of something you like about the person you're about to speak to. Then walk in. Principle 6. Remember names. A person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Carnegie cites Napoleon III, Emperor of France, who made it a personal policy to remember the name of every person he met, regardless of their rank. After being introduced to someone, he would repeat the name several times in conversation, associated with the person's features, and write it down later to reinforce it. Most of us forget names within seconds of hearing them, not because we can't remember, but because we weren't really paying attention when we heard it. We were too focused on what we were going to say next. The technique is simple. When you're introduced to someone, repeat their name immediately in the conversation. Use it once or twice. If it's unusual, ask how to spell it. That alone signals you care enough to get it right.
Principle 7.
Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk. Carnegie tells the story of a dinner party he attended where he spent most of the evening listening intently to a botanist who was clearly passionate about plants and flowers. Carnegie asked questions, expressed genuine curiosity, and said almost nothing about himself. At the end of the evening, the botanist told the host that Carnegie was one of the most interesting conversationalists he had ever met. Carnegie had said almost nothing. The most interesting conversationalists aren't the ones who say the most brilliant things. They're the ones who make the other person feel most heard. And the way to do that is not complicated. Stop preparing your next response while the other person is talking. Actually listen. Then ask a question about what they just said. Exclusive attention to the person who is speaking to you is the most flattering thing you can give them. Put the phone face down. Make eye contact. Lean slightly forward. Ask the follow-up. Principle 8. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Every person you meet has a dominant passion, something they could talk about for hours without stopping. Their work, their children, their hobby, their collection, their ambition. Find it and talk about that. Carnegie describes how Theodore Roosevelt used to stay up the night before meeting anyone new, reading everything he could find about that person's area of interest. When he met them, he could speak their language. The effect was that every person who met Roosevelt left feeling that Roosevelt was more interested in them than in himself. Before any important meeting, ask yourself, what does this person care about most? Then lead with that.
Principle 9.
The only way to win an argument is to avoid it. Here's something that will frustrate you when you first hear it. You cannot win an argument. Even if you have the facts, even if you have the evidence, even if the other person's position makes no logical sense whatsoever, you cannot win an argument in any way that actually matters. Why? Because when you prove someone wrong, you wound their pride. And a wounded ego doesn't concede, it retrenches. The person leaves the conversation still holding their original view, plus a new grievance against you. You may have won the debate, you have lost the person. Carnegie's most quotable line on this, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." What does work? Showing genuine respect for the other person's view, acknowledging what's valid in their position before introducing your own, asking questions that guide them toward reconsideration rather than telling them they're wrong, never saying you're wrong. If you find yourself in an argument, the first move is not to make your case stronger. It's to ask a question that makes the other person feel heard. That single act deflates 80% of arguments before they escalate. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Dale Carnegie. Principle 10. Let the other person feel the idea is theirs. This is the most powerful and most underused principle in the entire book. People do not act on ideas they were told. They act on ideas they believe they had. Think about how often you've had a great idea, suggested it, and watched it get ignored. Then, 3 weeks later, someone else suggests essentially the same idea. It gets enthusiastic support and becomes company policy. The idea didn't change. The ownership changed. Carnegie's principle. Instead of telling someone what to do or think, ask questions that lead them toward the conclusion you want them to reach. Plant a seed. Let them water it. When they arrive at the idea, it's theirs, and they will defend it, act on it, and invest in it with a passion they would never have brought to an idea you simply handed them. This works in parenting, in leadership, in sales, in relationships. The question to ask yourself before any conversation where you want to change someone's behavior or opinion is, how can I ask questions that lead this person to the conclusion I'm hoping for, rather than telling them what to conclude?
Section 4. Recap. Part 1. Handling people.
Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Understanding beats criticism every time. Principle 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Specific, genuine recognition is rare and unforgettable. Principle 3. Arouse an eager want. Talk about what they want and show them how to get it. Part 2. Make people like you. Principle 4. Become genuinely interested in others. Stop trying to be interesting and start being interested. Principle 5. Smile. A genuine smile is one of the most powerful signals you can send. Principle 6. Remember names. A name is the sweetest sound to the person who owns it. Principle 7. Be a good listener. Make people feel heard and they'll remember you as brilliant. Principle 8. Talk in terms of their interests. Lead every conversation in their world, not yours. Part 3. Win people over. Principle 9. Avoid arguments. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Principle 10. Let them feel the idea is theirs. People act on ideas they own, not ideas they were told. Carnegie's core message, the one idea underneath all 10 principles, is this: you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years trying to get other people interested in you. The skill isn't talking, it isn't persuading, it isn't impressing. It's making people feel genuinely valued and doing it consistently with everyone as a way of life. Section 5. Call to action. I'll be honest with you. This is the book on this channel that I think will have the most immediate impact on your daily life. Every other book we've covered changes how you think about money, time, or purpose. This one changes how you show up in every room you walk into, every conversation you have, every relationship you care about. The full book is in the description, Amazon and Audible links below. It's a short read, and it's one you'll find yourself coming back to. If you want the complete personal development library, this pairs perfectly with everything else I've covered. Rich Dad, Poor Dad for financial strategy, The Psychology of Money for financial behavior, The Alchemist for purpose, and The Millionaire Next Door for building wealth quietly. All linked in the description. Subscribe for a new book breakdown every week. And leave a comment below. Which of these 10 principles do you think you need to work on most? I genuinely love to read your answers. I reply to every one. See you in the next one.